I'm Jon Durrant, head coach at Cobra Gym, London, Victoria. Stuart Hussein, top ABA boxer, London regional titles, new hands, and he trains down here as well. So we're going to take you through footwork. So, a couple of drills. Okay, so basically, you even see it with some boxers. They don't necessarily know how to move, and everyone has a different way of doing it. So we're going to show you what we do, and hopefully maybe pick something up from this. So, well, first of all, we're going to do a traditional step in and out. So when I move, I always teach people that if I move forward, I move my front leg first, and then my back leg. Okay, front leg first, back leg. So the amount that I move my front leg is the amount I move my back leg. And when I move back, my back leg moves, and then my front leg moves. Pretty simple. So when I throw for example, a jab, I throw it here, and then I move back. I throw it here, and I move back. Very traditional way, getting in, coming out. Getting in, coming out. Pretty basic. Here, okay? So, when you kind of add to that, really, a step in and a step out, very simple. The next thing I can do is just a little commitment from here, which I can add a jab to, boom, in and out. In and out. Again, pretty simple stuff. Yeah, but the more we're interested in is kind of footwork that maybe takes you out something and puts you back in. So we would like to do a half step here. It's been done in this gym for years and years and years. Okay, so what I do with a half step is it's a movement of my back leg, which essentially takes me out and brings me back in without me losing my range. So I'm manipulating range on the step. Okay, so if Newman just straight punches me here, put it on the chin. Okay, so if you watch my back leg now and watch my front leg keep punching me, see with that little step, my front leg doesn't move, while my back leg does. So it takes me out and it brings me in. It takes me out, brings me in. It takes me out, brings me in. It takes me out, brings me in. Which when I use keep punching, when I use defensively, can be pretty useful. Here. Okay, so when then I start adding stuff to this half step, it becomes very, very useful. So what I might do is a drill that we do quite a lot, where we throw a step jab. So I throw a little step jab here, then I give a little half step for the counter. So if you counter my jab, my step jab. So I go here, then I take a little half step here, take a little half step here, little half step here. So all I'm doing has been quite tricky on my feet. Now when I come in, I use that half step to counter him a little bit. So when I come in, again, counter the jab, I do this jab, boom, take the half step and come off the half step on a counter right. So again, I am offensive, I'm defensive, then I'm offensive. So the jab is me being offensive, the counter comes, and then I slide up on that right hand. In, slide up, out, slide up again. Boom, half step, boom. Boom, half step, boom. Boom, half step, boom. Boom, half step, boom. So, again, I was talking about footwork where I can be quite defensive. So, here again, we like to counter punch quite a lot. So we like to use footwork that enables us to get in a position to counter. So the thing I always tell my fighters is, we have a two-step rule. You take a two-step back, and you do something. So a two-step back is if Newman just come towards me. I take 2 steps. So me, that's me taking 2 steps defensively. So again, 1, 2. So I say to my guys, you take 2 steps, you do something. So we either pull them onto a shot, or you take a pivot, okay? So we'll take the pivot step first. So all he does is he comes onto me here, and then I just pull that little pivot. So what I want to do when I take the 2-step, if you watch my back leg, I make my back leg movement quite big. So in fact, my 2-step covers more distance than maybe his 2-step. So he actually leans in a little bit. So it gives me a little room for that little pivot. So here he comes in. 1, 2, boom, I take that pivot. Again. 1, 2, take the pivot. So that's the 2-step pivot. I take 2, and then I just turn here. This pivot, the way I do it, the analogy I give, imagine someone's put a nail in your foot. it's just a little pivot around that foot, okay? So a nice big circle here on the pivot step, here. Should be one movement. But there, okay? So, the next thing I can do, while that's still being defensive, taking the pivot step, the next thing I do is put him onto a shot, which is why I need these big steps, because I want him to walk onto a shot. So we do a two-step and a right hand uppercut and a left hook. So if Newman comes to me with a bit of pressure, I take this 1-2 and I pull him on here. Again, two-step, bop. So I let him walk on. So when I take these defensive steps, I already know I'm going to do something here. Two-step, bop, then I take that pivot. Okay? So now we're working offensively, back to getting out of the way so I can start my work again. So again, two-step, bop, little pivot. So the other thing I can do now, okay, is I start getting creative with my footwork. So what I can do is I start giving what we call the little angle steps, okay? So what I do here is if I'm quite comfortable here, I can start angling off here. And then what we tend to do is we'll take these little steps here, but we take them on the right hand. So when I go to my right, with my right leg here, and then my left leg, then I slide back in with my left leg, then my right leg. Almost like you're kind of skiing, you know? So I'm here, I'm in front of him, tap, little step, forward, okay? Then here, when I want the angle here, I'm going to do it on a movement of my left hand and my right hand. So my right hand is going to keep him busy, just like I move to my left, you know? Here, I take him out this center line. So I'm not really doing too much, you know? I'm not coming into him here looking for a counter. I just take this, I use this, just to get over to this side, okay? And then I take that pivot. That was Footwork. For more about Cobra Gym and myself, you can go to jondurranttraining.com and you can find more videos on the Warrior Collective.